75. Zorel asks for compensation. I nearly haven't finished speaking when our man, whose name was Zorel, arrived with a very groggy expression on his face, wrapped in half-burned rags and making a lot of noise. I indicated to Julius to meet him and ask him what he wants and what he is looking for here in the afternoon. And Julius, with a very serious face, goes and does what I have advised him to do. And Zorel positions himself and says with a firm voice, I am a completely burnt-down citizen from the town and only learned today that the great Cyrenius is here to support by rich means those who suffered from the fire. I also took the courage to come here to firstly see for myself if Cyrenius is here and if he really does something to support the victims. If he does something according to the honourable Roman custom, I surely will not have come here in vain. But if he, for whatever reason, does nothing, he certainly will not make an exception with me. Therefore tell me, you honourable Roman, whether Cyrenius is here, and if he, as I have heard, exercises charity, so that I can go to him and beg for it. Says Julius, yes, he is here, and carries out significant reliefs, but only to those who are known to him with a completely irreproachable reputation. If this is also the case with you, you will not return empty-handed home. He is sitting there at the long table in the shade of the high cypresses and cedars, and gives audiences in all directions. Go there and introduce yourself. But be thoroughly prepared, since he is sharp-sighted as an eagle, and often sums up the character of a person at first sight. He never is more critical than when distributing reliefs. Upon this preface, Zorel starts to think deeply about what he should do under the given circumstances. After a short while, he decides to limp to Cyrenius, which is in fact a silly false act by him. When arriving at Cyrenius, he bows 3 times, touching the earth with his head. After completing the 3rd bow, he speaks with a shaking, shrieking voice. High Lord, and most strict ruler, I, Zorel, former little citizen from the burnt-down town Caesarea Philippi, begs your highest Roman strict rule to help me, an unfortunate poor victim, with something small, even ordinary money and some clothes, since I do not own anything else except these rags. I was the fair owner of a small hut with an added share of 2 mornings. Note 1. An old land measure can be very different depending on the region. Actual meaning, as much land as could be ploughed in 1 morning. Meagre agricultural land. I had a wife, which the gods immediately took to the Elysium 2 years ago. I did not have any children, but I still have a maid, which is still living with me, but also without children. My moving property consisted of 2 sheep, 1 goat and 1 donkey, and a few bad agricultural tools and some clothing. Everything went up in smoke and flames when I was busy extinguishing other houses. I am now, like hundreds with me, a complete beggar. Even my maid, which was the only life support I had, left me because I could not give her anything any more, which, however, shall be remembered, since should I have the extraordinary luck to obtain a hut and some other property again, and she wants to return, I will certainly know how to send that thoughtless person away from the house. Generally, in the future of my life, I will flee and despise everything what is called woman, since no woman is worth anything. They say that I'm a stupid animal, and do not understand how to handle a woman, and that my wife has died because of grief. If this was the case, then I would not have mourned nearly for 1 year for her, and my maid would not have stayed out of her free will with me until the accident, despite not being able to give her a large wage. It is, in general, quite a disgrace that a man is also born by a woman. Under the circumstances, it would be nearly better if my body's mother would have been a female bear. If the gods have arranged everything wisely, they surely made a blunder with women, and this is not to their honour. Therefore it is completely right, if Juno continuously causes Zeus a lot of trouble. Besides, it seems that all the divine family is not yet fully cooked. Otherwise it would not be possible for them to make such real silly jokes, even too dumb for human beings. I am a religious person and honour the gods because of some wise institutions in the world. But if they sometimes smell of stupidity, I'm not a friend of them any more. Would our town have burnt down if Apollo would not have caused one or the other stupid prank? He fell, just as our wise priests firmly state, from some unusual fine fleshly earth nymph, perhaps even paying her a dirty visit, while in the meantime Juno or Diana played a practical joke on him, and we poor beggars must pay for this nice joke of the gods. That a person gets weak from time to time, normally out of a shortage of sufficient experiences, is understandable. Can the weak stalk help it, if blown by the wind back and forth? But if the immense cedars, which are symbols of our dear gods, just like the stalk, are also bending and bowing in all directions, according to the wretched earthly winds, sometimes even in a dirty direction, it is incomprehensible, and only a little soberly thinking person must view this as quite silly. What about a god now? If he acts wisely, as it is worthy for a god, he merits all admiration. But if he from time to time acts like a mortal weak person, and we poor people undeservedly coming to harm by a careless prank of the gods, then this is silly of a god, and therefore I cannot honour and praise him. You, high ruler and actually a little of a half-god, will surely recognise that only the gods can be blamed for my misfortune, especially Apollo, who fell in love. I therefore beg you to replace the damage,